seafood, nuts and bolts to tea, global trade is the backbone of developed economies today and the target of their developing counterparts the world over. These countries view entry into global markets as the key to their economic development. Global trade has grown phenomenally in recent years with the gradual removal of tariff barriers under the World Trade Organization rules. However, concern looms around the unequal distribution of benefits among developing countries, particularly least developed ones. One of the key reasons for this gap is that marketing globally has new demands, ones that require compliance with international standards, quality, safety, and environmental regulations, standards that govern entry into developed country markets. In Sri Lanka, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and the Norwegian aid agency, NORAD, have provided this timely assistance to meet the standards that govern entry to foreign markets.
Today, we are trading in the so-called rules-based global trading system, and exporters sending their products to developed markets will have to comply with standards and technical regulations that are imposed by the importing country. Every country has the right to protect the consumers from substandard goods, protect the environment, protect the plant and animals, and also to some extent safeguard the environment that we all live in. Now, within this context, the technical regulations and standards that are imposed are within the framework of the World Trade Organization, WTO, rules. Two particular agreements within the WTO are of relevance here. One, the so-called Technical Barriers to Trade Agreement, or TBT, and the second, the Sanitary and Phytosanitary Measures Agreement, the SPS agreement. Now, UNIDO, the Industrial Development Agency of the UN, has been definitely concerned about the marginalization of developing countries, and we have formulated a new initiative called the Market Access Initiative. Now, this is based on the so-called 3 C's approach. The first C, developing the competitive supply capability of developing countries. And the second, once you have products to sell in the marketplace, we have to support the compliance of developing country in terms of standards and conformity requirements. We refer this to as conform. And the third is the connection to the market, what we refer to as connect, meaning simplifying custom procedures, documentation, and transport requirements.
Even a traditional Sri Lankan agricultural export, such as tea, would need to be tested to ensure that there are no excessive traces of pesticides or weedicides used in the tea plantations. Samples of tea have to be tested to certify that the trace elements from the harmful chemicals are below permitted levels. Here again, sophisticated testing equipment is required. The testing needs get more complex when more value-added products are manufactured. Sri Lanka is one of the major exporters of garments today, supplying to sophisticated markets. Strength of the stitch, color fastness, absence of harmful dyes are some of the tests required before export. In the engineering industry, another issue for export emerges. Lanka Fasteners is a major exporter from Sri Lanka, producing nuts and bolts. Unless these are manufactured to precise dimensions, the nuts and bolts would not match the importer specifications of 5 mm accepted in Germany or Japan. Physical quantities, mass, dimension, pressure, temperature, electrical properties such as volt, ampere must be accurately measured. Traceability of such measurements must be assured through a complex metrology infrastructure and traceable to the convention of the meter and related conventions. All this requires sophisticated laboratories.
Most developing countries has the ambition to become industrialized. To become an industry-driven country, one needs the capacity for precision manufacture and to assure quality of the finished product. Measurement capability, or what we refer to in the technical jargon as metrology, is a precondition for developing this industrialization capacity. UNIDO, under the Sri Lanka program with assistance from NORAD, supported the development and international accreditation of 5 testing laboratories and also developed a state-of-the-art metrology, or what we refer to as a measurement laboratory in Sri Lanka.
The UNIDO NORAD project strengthened 2 main institutions, the Industrial Technology Institute, ITI, and the Textile Training and Services Center for testing of garments and textiles for the exporters, filling the equipment gaps in the microbiology and chemical testing laboratories and the garment testing labs. In the case of the ITI Metrology Laboratory, the project invested in a new sophisticated environmental control system and made significant contributions in the area of equipment. In the absence of a national physical laboratory, the ITI Metrology Unit became the reference metrology facility in the country, bringing in internationally traceable calibrations.
We have been providing testing and analytical services to industry for close to 35 years. But in the new global trading environment, unless our test reports are accredited internationally, our reports are not recognized in the international market. The UNIDO NORAD intervention was timely. As a result, we became the very first internationally accredited laboratory in Sri Lanka.
A critical factor in global trade today is the global acceptance of test certificates. Duplicative testing adds to costs and delays and becomes a de facto trade barrier. The international standard ISO 17025 ensures that testing procedures are accurate and credible. The ISO 17025 standard looks critically at the following areas: adequacy of the physical facility and environmental condition, adequacy of equipment for the tests to be carried out, adequacy of human capabilities, proper calibration of the test equipment, the test methods utilized and how tests are validated, presence of a good quality management system to ensure proper operation and management. Seafood, garments and tea, Sri Lanka's most prominent export sectors, were the ones targeted by the project. As a result, 5 Sri Lankan laboratories catering to these sectors obtained Swedish SWEDAC accreditation. These labs can now use the SWEDAC logo and the lab logo in their test reports. The mutual recognition of test reports globally is made easier by the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, or ILAC, Mutual Recognition Agreement. Since SWEDAC is a signatory to the ILAC agreement, the test results are internationally recognized. SWEDAC also sends assessment teams regularly to ensure laboratories closely follow the ISO 17025 standard. UNIDO and ILAC are partners in helping developing countries achieve lab accreditation.
The Textile Training and Service Center has been established to provide training, technical services to the textile and apparel sector in Sri Lanka. In this context, the testing laboratory plays a major role and is the main income generating unit of the center. The UNIDO NORAD intervention helped us to obtain the ISO 17025 accreditation, which in turn helped us to obtain accreditation from reputed retailers in the European Union.
The project has also brought added benefits to ITI. the need to service private sector demand, and to ensure sustainability of the international accreditation status after UNIDO intervention ends.
The UNIDO intervention was a welcome gift at the time when the government was thinking of state sector reform. With UNIDO assistance, we created an in-house team that worked on market potential, cost accounting, and also performance incentives. We also enhanced our service capability and launched a results-based incentive scheme. The institute was considered a model for state sector reform.
Global trade today within the World Trade Organization setting recognizes importer country rights to ensure product safety and quality, the protection of the plant and animal life, and the environment. If developing countries are to play a part in this trend, strengthened standards testing and conformity infrastructure is a necessary precondition. Interventions like the UNIDO NORAD one have developed national institutional capability, promoted exports, and given a boost to Sri Lanka's objective of becoming a newly industrialized country in the near future. The wider dividends of such initiatives are hard to measure, yet definitely a move towards more right-conscious development.